What's up, everybody? Welcome into A to Z Sports Picks. Brian and I are going to have a great show for you this Tuesday. Get you ready for the betting week. Brian, as always, buddy, it's good to see you, man. How we doing?
Good to see you, man. What's happening? How was the weekend?
Man, it was great, buddy. It was great. Watched a little bit of baseball. Watched some UFC. That was really about it. What were your thoughts there on the UFC card, man?
Man, Cyril Gahn is the truth. My bad to those listeners that tailed me with the Black Beast, but I did make a profit. I hope if you tailed me or listeners tailed me, I hope you went a little bigger on Jose Aldo as I suggested. I ended up going 3-2. I lost that underplay, but I won Song Yadong and Vicente Luque. And so now Gahn will fight Francis Ngannou. I mean, we don't know a date yet, and it'll probably be a couple weeks till we do. But I won't be surprised that they always have a pay-per-view like that weekend. Either it's usually the Saturday after between Christmas and New Year's Eve. I'm not sure what days of the week it falls this year, but I would think it's going to be that last pay-per-view of the year. And we do have odds out for it. FanDuel has Ngannou as a very short -116 favorite. And
Wow.
Gahn at -102. And there's one offshore Bet Online that actually opened Gahn as the favorite on Sunday, and now it's -110 either way. So what comes out of, because Derek Lewis is the truth, man. I mean, he's not the most technical striker and any of that, but he's got powerful hands, and he could not even touch Gahn. Gahn made it look easy. And I think his stock went way up, as we saw and as we see with these odds, that it's basically just a pick 'em when Ngannou has won 5 in a row by knockout. 4 were 71 seconds or fewer. And the one against Stipe was within the first minute of round 1. And Stipe Miocic is the all-time greatest heavyweight, most title defenses ever. So we got a new badass heavyweight, and him and Ngannou will settle things later this year. And Aldo called out TJ Dillashaw, the former bantamweight champ, and they've never fought because Aldo used to be at 145 for so long. So they'll probably fight also later this year, and that'll be an interesting fight as well. So those are what came out of UFC 265.
I love it, man. I can't wait. We don't have a card this weekend, so we'll have to wait a little bit. But yeah, dude, that was fantastic. The UFC does a great job. They really, no matter what the card looks like, they really deliver each time. Everybody, welcome in A to Z Sports Picks. I'm Alan Bell, CBS Sports Line, alongside Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com. A to Z Sports Picks is brought to you every Tuesday and Friday by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Everybody, make sure to download that BetMGM app. If you use promo code A to Z 100. Get a risk-free bet of up to $600. I've done it, used it. It's fantastic. Those credits come in your account ASAP. Trust me on that. It is good. That's BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older. Must be present in the state of Tennessee. For gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. So, Brian, we're going to jump right into it. Our first segment of the day. Yeah, go ahead. What you got, bud?
You hit that 3-leg baseball parlay Friday?
We did. Absolutely.
Atta boy. All right.
And I see our man Lucas Berkson here says, yeah, hit that 3-leg parlay. We did. Absolutely. We got some more baseball picks coming today as well. Want to say what's up to everybody in here. Lucas, we see you, buddy. Zach Goodman, our man. We're going to talk about that absolutely today in terms of all the games that we have. Justin, what's up? He says, use Derrick Henry for all your fantasy needs. I love it. James, hey, what's up? Good to see everybody. And appreciate you all tuning in. Now, let's jump right into it. So we're going to talk about all of the NFL games, preseason week 1, but we're going to focus on the Titans first. And we're going to take a look at this game. It's Friday night. The Titans play at Atlanta against the Falcons. You can see on the bottom here, the Titans are a 1-point favorite and a total of 38. So we talk about how to bet smart, intelligently on preseason games. Brian, I'm going to throw some things out here real quick, okay? First, you're betting information and necessity in these games, all right? And number 2, and we'll show everybody the entire lineup for week 1, there's not a single total that's in the 40s. Every single total is in the 30s. So understand what that should tell you. I'm not saying go one way or the other. I'm just saying understand where those sit. Now, when I say betting information and necessity, this is exactly what I mean. And let's use this Titans-Falcons game as a perfect example. So we saw in the Hall of Fame game with the Cowboys and the Steelers. All right. You have one team in the Steelers who legitimately that game was about quarterback reps. Mason Rudolph versus Dwayne Haskins versus Josh Dobbs. Where the Dallas Cowboys, and again, that's for the Steelers, for the backup quarterback. But even with the Cowboys, it really wasn't all that. They were just kind of going out there and let's just kind of see what we have. And Dak Prescott and, the boys are not playing, obviously. So what I mean by information and necessity is this. Going into this game, Friday night, the Titans don't have to figure out anything offensively, okay? They added Julio Jones, but he's not going to play. You don't have to play Ryan Tannehill. You certainly don't need to play Derrick Henry. You really don't even need to play your offensive line. You don't need to play A.J. Brown. Like, Mike Vrabel knows what he has offensively. Now, he might use guys in and out throughout the preseason in terms of getting reps. There's going to be at some point you definitely want to do that. But with the Titans, it's more going to be about Shane Bowen and this defense. So you're going to see starters, right? I don't know how long guys are going to go, but you're going to see guys playing. You're definitely going to see young cats in the secondary. So with the Falcons, you have a new head coach in Arthur Smith, who, of course, he doesn't need to understand Matt Ryan. He doesn't need to understand Calvin Ridley, but he does want to simulate and go through an NFL game. This is his first one as a head coach, right? So you're going to see more out of the Atlanta Falcons in terms of an actual game and what they kind of want to walk through and run through. Whereas to the Titans, they probably do not even care regardless of any of it. They just want to see what they have defensively, get some guys some reps, and kind of mold out, that depth chart, right? So that's what I mean. So now looking at this game, when you have Titans, 1-point favorite, out the Falcons, total of 38. If it's me, I'm betting the Falcons, right? Like, I think that you're going to get more of trying to simulate an actual NFL game to where the Titans legitimately, who knows? Like, they might want to get extra work on, punting, kicking, right? Like, I could see field goal kicking being something that they want to press. So any opportunity that they get to attempt a field goal, whether it's 12 yards or 50 yards, right? Like, I could absolutely see Mike Vrabel wanting to do that. So if I were betting this game, I would roll with the Falcons because I think that you're going to get more of what looks like an actual mindset of playing a game. Does that make sense, Brian? Any thoughts you have?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with those assessments. I think the Falcons will be getting more reps, for their starters. Obviously, Tennessee is a veteran team with, Vrabel's been there for a while. Everything's in. There's no reason to risk a Derrick Henry or anybody getting hurt. Just some thoughts on the quarterbacks. I mean, we may get Matt Ryan for a series or two, but it's mostly going to be A.J. McCarron and Felipe Franks. The Titans,
your Florida boy.
Yeah, and now he's back with the Falcons. I was hoping I'd kind of gotten rid of him. But, he had a good year last year for Arkansas. And look, man, he can run it, and he's got an NFL arm. I mean, he's got a big-time arm. He's just not – his decision-making wasn't always there. But I think it's definitely improved. So I also point out that I would think you'll get a lot of touches for the Falcons' undrafted free agent running back, who I think is going to make the team and have a chance to get some decent playing time as a rookie, being Javian Hawkins, the speedster out of Louisville, who averaged 6.2 yards per carry for the Louisville Cardinals last year. And, the backups for the Titans, Deshaun Kaiser, who I don't think a whole lot of it. And let me be clear, AJ McCarron.
Kaiser's gone. Kaiser's gone.
Sorry, I'm just looking.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Now, I'll say this, not to interrupt you, and let you get back to it. You bring up an excellent point. So they got rid of Deshaun Kaiser, added in Matt Barkley. Okay, so Logan Woodside is the number 2. So you're definitely going to see a ton of reps between Woodside and Matt Barkley. So I'm glad that you brought that up. That's an excellent point. All right, continue.
Yeah, and I was just going to say A.J. McCarron had a hell of a college career at Alabama, but I really don't think of much of him as an NFL quarterback, and I would think he's going to get way more reps than Felipe Franks. I would think Franks will get get the fourth quarter, which will come down maybe decide who covers or not. But just that and Hawkins out of Louisville, who I like. I think he maybe can, maybe spring something. And then Brian Hill, backup running back from the Titans, is a former Falcon. He'll probably be getting some touches, and he'll probably want to do well against his former team. So there's just a few personnel thoughts. And, just because he's an old Tennessee guy, I'll mention it. Cordarrelle Patterson, who was, been an outstanding kick returner in the league for a while, was a great wide receiver for Tennessee back in the day. I think the Falcons are trying to move him to running back, and so you may see him getting some touches, and he's a speedster like Hawkins, the undrafted free agent as well. So that's just a couple thoughts on the personnel that might be in the game for the fourth quarter. I don't really bet on preseason because I don't like my money being decided by a bunch of third and fourth stringers that might not make the team. But I agree with your thoughts that the Falcons will probably be trying a little harder, and so do that what you will with that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And again, for anybody that just joined, like these preseason games, you are betting information and you are betting necessity, right? So we're gonna break down the full list, and we're not gonna go game by game, but we're gonna look at all of them, and you'll kind of see exactly where my mindset is going. That again, with Mike Vrabel and with the Titans, there's not a lot of things offensively they really do need to figure out. Obviously, backup quarterbacks between Logan Woodside, between Matt Barkley, the running back position, we'll see in terms of Brian Hill, Darrington Evans, players like that. And then obviously, the wide receivers in working them in terms of, where is this team going to sit at wide receiver 3, 4, 5, things like that. But it's going to be a lot more Titans defensive players than offense than what you're going to see. They're definitely going to, work on Shane Bowen's defense and all of that. So we'll go into more of that with, the full slate of NFL games that we have. Really quickly, I want to, going off of what, Luke has said here in terms of Friday's baseball parlay, I want to take a look at some games that we have going on today in Major League Baseball, because we definitely want to talk about things that we can bet on right now and watch and hit. So I've got two plays here. Both obviously are going to be Major League Baseball. First one is we got the Detroit Tigers at the Baltimore Orioles. The Tigers are a favorite, but at plus 100 around there, and over a total of 10.5. I'm going to roll with the Tigers on this one because Detroit 66% straight up playing after a day off, and the Orioles are 25% straight up as a betting favorite this season. I like the Tigers in this spot. Also, a second play that I have, I'm going to go back to the White Sox and Twins game. I know that we saw the Sox mash, but here's the deal. I'm going to take the White Sox minus 145. Chicago's 13-4 this season straight up against the Twins, and the Twins are 20-30 this season as a betting underdog. So I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going with just the better teams. It happens that both of them are on the road. So I'm going to go with the White Sox over the Twins money line. I'm going to go with the Tigers over the Orioles money line as well. So back to the NFL. And here we want to take a look at everything that we have on the board this week. And let me kind of put it on here on the bottom. And let me explain, if anybody hasn't seen the schedule of what we have going on in the NFL this week. So week 1, preseason, you got 2 games on Thursday. All right, Washington at the Patriots. And you've got the Steelers playing in their second game at Philadelphia against the Eagles. Friday, you got 3 games. Saturday, you've got, 10 games? I think 8 or 9 games, somewhere around there. And then Sunday, only 1 game. You have the Panthers at the Colts. So, Brian, I want to take a look at this schedule here for this week. Everybody, you can see it on the bottom here, and put it in the chat what bets that you like. First off, understand, again, there's not a single total that is in the 40s. They're all in the 30s. So understand where Vegas, kind of imagines where these games are going to be. But just walking through this and seeing, where kind of motivation is going to be. So let's just start on Thursday. You got the New England Patriots at home, a 2-point underdog. You're going to see a lot of Mac Jones from Alabama because it's not necessarily a quarterback competition between him and Cam. It's both of you be prepared because, Mac, this is going to be your team at any point if Cam goes down, and we might not look back. So Bill Belichick, in the squad, they are definitely going to give Mac a good amount of reps and let him get in there, see their thing. You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Eagles, I don't really like much out of that game whatsoever. Friday, we talked about the Titans-Falcons. I like the Falcons in that one based on Arthur Smith wanting to get a full look at his team. Bills and Lions Friday, not much there. Cowboys-Cardinals, again, not a whole lot there. And looking through Saturday, some games that I see, Chicago at home against the Dolphins are 4-point favorites. I think we're going to see some Justin Fields, obviously. And we'll see how many, series that he gets. The Broncos at the Vikings. The Vikings are kind of screwed right now in terms of the quarterback position. So take a look at the Broncos there. That might be a decent play for you. The Saints
are Cousins and those guys not back yet to practice?
I don't know. We'll find out today. And then, leading up to Saturday in terms of what their plan is going to be. But it's kind of been a disaster. You look at the Saints and the Ravens, understand the Saints have to figure out their starting quarterback position. I'm not saying that you're going to get a ton of Taysom and Jameis, but you're going to get a little bit. And with the Baltimore Ravens, you're not going to see any of their offense whatsoever. Lamar just came off the COVID list. I wouldn't expect anything out of him. You might see some of the young backs, some of the wide receivers, but again, Baltimore is pretty much a finely tuned product. They're not going to give you much at all. Same thing, Browns at Jaguars. Look, Cleveland knows exactly what their offense is. You're not going to see any of those guys. You'll see some defensive players, maybe some, but the Jaguars, you got Urban Meyer coaching in his first NFL game. You got Trevor Lawrence, who's going to get some reps. You've got a team that he wants to see the entire squad. So that's why you see Jaguars favored by 2. I think that that's not a bad play at all. Bengals and Bucks. Bengals aren't going to put Joe Burrow. They're not going to risk him. The Bucks are actually going to play Tom Brady. They're going to play everybody. Brady might get 2 snaps, but they've said that they're going to play everybody. I just stay away from that one. Jets at Giants. The Jets, you're certainly going to see Zach Wilson, their new quarterback, a touch. The Giants, you probably won't see anything. However, defensively, you might, because Joe Judge, he does like some fights. He likes guys playing aggressive. So just keep an eye on that one. Texans and Packers. Packers, you're going to get Jordan Love. They've got to prepare this kid there's a great chance he's going to be their starting quarterback next year. And I don't know how many reps you're going to get him during the regular season. So you are going to see a lot of Jordan Love in this preseason. The Texans, who in the hell knows what you're going to get out of that? So, yeah, I'd just watch out for the Texans. Chiefs at 49ers, I'm interested in this one. You're not going to see anybody from the Chiefs. But with the 49ers, I'm interested to see a little Trey Lance, right? Like, I want to see him a little bit. That's why you see them as a favorite. Seahawks at Raiders, and you're probably not going to get much out of either of those. You will probably see some Marcus Mariota in that game. Chargers at Rams. The Rams, I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to play a damn soul. Sean McVay does not care about preseason games. He's already told you his running backs certainly aren't going to play after the Cam Akers injury. So Chargers, that's why they're a 4-point favorite. It says they're on the road. They play the same stadium. You got a new head coach in Los Angeles with the Chargers, so that's why you see them as a favorite. That's not a bad look either. And then Panthers at Colts. Interesting with the Panthers, because you've got your boy coming over from the Jets, but the Colts got to figure out a quarterback, because if they don't have Carson Wentz week 1, week 2, week 3, they're going to give Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger reps. I don't know if they're any good, but they're going to give them some reps. So that's why you see them as a 1.5 favorite. That might not be a bad play either. Keep an eye on that. So I just spoke a ton. Brian, I'm going to kick it over to you. What do you see out of this board? And everybody in the chat, drop in what you like. What are your little nuggets? What are your pieces of information? What do you see that we're not? Because I'd love to hear it. But Brian, floor is yours, buddy.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Jags. Urban Meyer's going to get his teeth kicked in this year, so I'm sure he's going to try to be getting a W this week. Again, I don't bet preseason, but if I had to pick one, I would probably go with either the Falcons or the Jags, because, well, a couple of reasons. I think Trevor might – I mean, obviously you don't want Trevor to get hurt, but you also want him to get some reps. And I would think Minshew is as good a backup as there is, will get some time. I'm not a huge C.J. Beathard fan, but for a third-string quarterback, he's not bad. So I could see the Jags, at least getting more reps for their better players, way more so than the Browns. There was one. I'll just keep in mind Devontae Smith is out for the Eagles. He's hurt. Hunter Henry's out for the Patriots. The excellent tight end that they acquired during the offseason. And yeah, I just agree with I mean, just going to get a whole lot of Jordan Love. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I kind of think Jordan Love sucks, but
we're gonna find out. Hey,
we're gonna find out.
Hey, Green Bay made their bed. Now they got to sleep in it. So yeah, we're gonna figure out on that. Yeah, no doubt. Also, I want to say one thing before we go to our final segment here. Zach Goodman says we got a conversation in the chat. Scherzer on the mound, roll with the Dodgers. Also says hate the Phillies, but they're hot. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I looked at this game a ton. I almost played it. I didn't. But I almost went with the over of 8. It opened at 8.5, went down to 8. I think it's back at 8.5 right now. You look, the Dodgers hit the over in their last start with Max Scherzer. That's only one game, doesn't mean a ton. But, dude, the Phillies are averaging 5.7 runs per game over its last 7. Like, they are hot. They are hitting the ball. So if you could get it down to 8, even, 7.5, keep an eye there. It's not a bad play. You've got a good pitching matchup, but yeah, I just wanted to say that Zach, with him in terms of talking about Scherzer and Lucas saying, hate the Phillies, but they're hot. Boys, great points. You're not wrong. I'm telling you, I was looking at that game absolutely as well. So we'll move to our final segment of the day here. And Brian, what I want to do is just kind of talk about finishing betting the month of August. All right. And I'm going to kick it to you because this is going to be a big segment in terms of just all kinds of different areas that you're in terms of setting up for college football, in terms of UFC or anything that we have coming up, just all those things. I just wanted to say 2 things really quickly. You look at Major League Baseball, pay attention to first 5 inning bets and late inning losses in terms of games. We are seeing a lot of 8th and 9th inning runs. Be careful out there in terms of, bullpens. Pay attention to teams whose bullpens are tired. Pay attention to teams that are out of races. There's a lot of things going on as we get towards the end of the regular season. Also, I want to say, and I've got to give credit to BetSmart on this one. They put the stat up on Twitter earlier, and it's fantastic. Brian, in the last 6 days in Major League Baseball, favorites are 58-19 straight up. Yep.
Chalk eaters are cashing. Sounds like the dogs are about to bark then soon. You know what?
Absolutely. So there's going to be a time where underdogs are going to, kind of even that thing out. But you know how things get when we get towards the end of the season. Just pay a little more attention to the games you're looking at. Look at the bullpens. Look at the pitchers. Look at the last 7 games. Find you some trends. They generally play out how you think that they are. Also, I'll say this lastly. The Oakland A's, I played their run line all weekend. 1.5 favorite all weekend. It hit all weekend. And their bats are decent right now. Not as good as they were, a couple weeks ago. But they are limiting teams to 2.9 runs per game. And I'm telling you, it is holding to a T. Go look at this weekend. So pay attention to the A's this week. Just something to keep an eye on. So I kick it to you, Brian. You've got some information on college football. You've got some information on just the month of August. Everything. Buddy, floor is yours. Let her rip.
Well, I did edit a story. I never have anything to offer on baseball, but I did edit a story this morning. And I do know the Phillies have won 8 in a row and that Bryce Harper is hot. And he went from 100-1 odds to win NL MVP honors to 4-1 in the span of a week. So there's my only MLB knowledge that I rarely have it, but I threw it out there. And
I love it.
Just to show that I used to know my baseball. What you just said about the A's reminded me of the Tim Hudson, Barry Zito, and Mark Mulder era.
That was a fun era, dude. That was a real fun era. Really,
that was a great series with the Yankees after 9/11.
Oh yeah. Hey, really quickly before you go, I want to highlight something. Zach Goodman says, "More bet Marlins suck. Padres are a good team." Look, I played the Padres last night on the run line. They came through for me. They were leading the game 4-1 pretty much throughout, and then, dude, the Marlins. Lewis Brinson hits a 2-run bomb. in the eighth, top of the eighth. Okay. Padres come back up in the bottom of the eighth, immediately go for a 4-run inning in the bottom of the eighth, get it to 8-3, ended up winning 8-3. So it was nice, but you're seeing a ton of late sweats. Look at the Yankees game last night. That was the first game in the modern era where the Yankees had blown a lead in the 7th inning, 8th inning, 9th inning, and 10th inning, and they ended up winning by what? 3 in the 11th? Something like it was madness. So, yeah, just pay attention out there. Major League Baseball, it's getting wild in late innings to where at the beginning of the year, not so much. Those generally go down 0-0-0-0. Just pay attention. All right, continue, Brian. Sorry.
No problem. So college football totals for week 1 came out either late Thursday or early Friday. Our friends at BetMGM do not have their totals out yet, but in fact, hardly anybody does. But DraftKings and PointsBet sent theirs out. So I was just going to mention the totals for a couple of the key games in week 1. First off, I'll do just for the local flavor that the Vols and Bowling Green has a total of 57. And then Alabama, Miami, and PointsBet and DraftKings are, like a half point or a whole point different on some of these. So Bama, Miami is either 63.5 or 64.5. Georgia, Clemson. Remember that game's in Charlotte. That's either 52.5 or 53.5. LSU, UCLA is 70. Ole Miss, Louisville is the highest total of week 1, and understandably so with Ole Miss's dynamic offense and that horrible defense. That total is 74.5. I will note that Ole Miss's defense is horrible. It's one of the all-time worst SEC defenses they had last year, and they lost 2 of their better players off of that unit. Jaquez Jones transferred to Kentucky, and one of their better pass rushers transferred to Indiana. So my point is I don't think Ole Miss's defense is going to be getting any better this year. But as I say that, Louisville lost some of their weapons. I mentioned Hawkins, who's with my Falcons now, is the undrafted free agent. He was their best running back. And then there's Tutu Atwell and the other stud wide receiver for Louisville. They lost. But still, if I did anything on that game, I would lean over, although you already know that Alan and I are partial to the Rebels on the side for that game. I'll also mention a couple of line moves. If you like Notre Dame at FSU, and that's the Sunday night game of week 1, you had a great opportunity. It's been 9.5 all summer, and it dripped down to 7.5 on Friday, Saturday. I noticed today that it is actually back up to 8 at William Hill and PointsBet. Our friends at BetMGM have it at 8.5. DraftKings is back to 8.5, whereas most books were all the way down to 7.5 on Friday and Saturday. FanDuel is still at 7.5. So if you have a FanDuel account and you like Notre Dame, the fact that it dripped down and now has gone back up makes me think this 7.5 at FanDuel is the best price potentially the best price. I mean, we could have injuries between now and then, but I would say if you're going to bet Notre Dame and you have a FanDuel account, you might want to do it now and buy that hook to the key number of 7. Another game that's seen some line movement. Mississippi State's been minus 26.5 to La Tech all year or all summer, and that is down to 24 or 24.5 at most books. So you missed your best number on La Tech. So I just chill if you like La Tech. And by the way, with another local flavor point, Keon Henry Brooks, the leading rusher for Vandy last year, he ended up transferring to La Tech and will be their featured back. All right, I won't spend a whole lot more time other than just briefly mention that UCLA and Hawaii play on August 28th. We're 18 days away from, I think there's 7 games on the board that week, but a couple of them are FCS, and San Jose State plays an FCS team. But we've got 4 games that are aligned and available right now, and I previewed UCLA hosting Hawaii in week 1. And if you want to check out that preview, it's on majorwager.com. I'll just mention a couple of things. Right now, UCLA is minus 17. The total is 69.5 at PointsBet. It's 70 at DraftKings. Hawaii's plus 550 on the money line. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, their veteran quarterback, who's got a 40-20 career TD/INT ratio and 7 career rushing touchdowns. He has not practiced yet, but we've only, college has been only practicing since like Thursday or Friday. I think it's a health and safety protocol, COVID related dealio, but be on, keep an eye out for that. Hawaii returns their QB Chevin Cordero, who had a 14-6 TD/INT ratio last year and ran for a team high 483 yards and 6 touchdowns. He now has a career TD/INT ratio of 28-11 and 10 career rushing touchdowns. Hawaii is a lot better on defense. They bring back 11 starters. Their linebacker Darius Muasau, he was first team All-Mountain West last year. They've also added 3 Power 5 transfers that are probably going to start. One is a safety from Iowa State, another is a cornerback from Georgia, and the other one's a D tackle from Utah. And just a couple of quick things. UCLA, they met in 2017. UCLA beat Hawaii 56-23 and covered as a 24-point favorite. And last 21 as a double-digit underdog. The Rainbow Warriors are 7-12-2 against the spread, but they do have 5 outright wins. And as an underdog in Todd Graham's first season last year, they went 4-2 against the spread with 3 outright wins in 6 games as an underdog. So there's a little Hawaii UCLA stuff. 18 days away, we'll have college football. I don't have a play on that game. I wrote in my article that it's a pass for me now, which is another way of saying I'll be watching and looking for in-game opportunities. And there we go.
I like it, man. That was good info, brother. I appreciate that.
It's been on the brain all morning, so it's close to the brain as it's going to be.
No. Look, I'll say this. Look, Lucas Burke put this in the chat, and watch your show on Friday, middle of a 90-hour work week. Thanks for all your knowledge. I don't have much time to look into all this stuff. Look, that's exactly what we want to be. And what Brian was just going through, what we go through each Tuesday and Friday, is that we want to make it easy of say, hey, take a look at these games. Let's do some initial research for you, show you. You can ride them because these picks that we put in here, I'm absolutely playing these. Same thing with Brian. But just kind of make it easier in terms of, hey, if you don't have a lot of time, like, look here. These are your best options. Feel free to make, your decisions based off of that. So I just wanted to say that. That was great stuff, Brian. And again, we really do appreciate everybody that tunes in. Please continue the conversation. Let us know, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever, what your picks are for the preseason games this week, the Titans game, Major League Baseball, which you have each day. Let us know, man, because again, it's all of us together against the books. So I love it. Brian, anything else before we go?
No, man. I think we covered it. Good luck with your MLB bets, everybody. And if you have a Thursday NFL preseason play, and we'll see you on Friday.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to BetMGM, A to Z Sports. We really do appreciate it. Let's make some money today. All right. Let's do it.
All right, brother. Let's do it.
All right. See you, man.